Welcome to Backbone Unlimited. I'm Matt Hartsky. In today's episode, we're diving deep into one of the most overlooked skills in public land elk hunting, still hunting. Now, before you think this is old school or outdated, let me tell you something. Still hunting has probably given me more close range encounters with elk than any other tactic I've used. And it works even better when the woods go quiet, the pressure's up, and other hunters are blowing calls and chasing ghosts. So if you've ever felt like you're just walking through the empty woods hoping for something to happen, this episode is for you. Let's break it down. First up, let's make sure we understand what still hunting really is. Let's define it right. Still hunting is not standing still. It's slow, deliberate movement through the woods with the intent to spot elk before they spot you. It's part patience, part predator mode, and all about using your senses, not your calls, to close the distance. This is boots on the ground hunting that takes full advantage of your ability to read sign, play the wind, and use terrain to your favor. You're not announcing yourself. You're moving like a shadow, listening more than talking, watching more than walking. Next, let's discuss why still hunting works on public land. Public land elk get educated fast. Calls become background noise. Pressure stacks up quick, and bulls either go silent or move into tighter cover where glassing isn't as effective. That's where still hunting shines. It works when elk are tucked into thick timber or sneaking through drainages midday. It works when you're dealing with silent bulls or wary herds, and it's deadly when paired with good sign and strong instincts. Still hunting forces you to slow down, observe, and move with intention, and it puts you in the kind of places elk go when they're trying to avoid everybody else. Next, let's use e-scouting for still hunting success. Before you hit the mountain, got to do your homework. Start with maps. I use topo and aerial views to find the terrain features that make still hunting effective. Things like benches, steep timbered slopes, isolated pockets between drainages, and north-facing slopes that hold shade and water. If you're looking for places that are both elk-friendly and hunter-friendly, anywhere that's tough to glass, tough to get to, and doesn't offer a clean shooting line for rifle hunters, that's money for still hunting, especially if it's a mile or two from the nearest road or trailhead. Download your maps ahead of time, pin a handful of backup zones, and be ready to change plans when you hit fresh sign. Now let's talk about terrain, the boots on the ground part. The best still hunting terrain has three things going for it. Cover, thick timber, dark draws, old burns with regrowth, or north slopes. Elk feel safe here, and that's where they'll bed or travel during daylight. Sign, tracks, fresh poop, rubs, and chewed vegetation tell you where elk have been recently. If it's dry and dusty with no sign, keep moving. And wind control. You need to be able to move with a steady wind. Swirling thermals or inconsistent direction will ruin your hunt faster than noise will. Focus on areas where elk can move undisturbed, and don't ignore spots close to pressure. Sometimes elk are tucked in just one ridge over from where everybody else is hiking. Now let's cover the actual movement through the woods. This is where still hunting either makes or breaks. You're not covering miles, you're covering yards. 100 yards in an hour isn't too slow. Sometimes I take a step, then stand still for minutes. Here's how I do it. Scan before you step. Don't just look with your eyes, use your ears. Listen for twig snapping, cow mews, brush movement. It is absolutely amazing how an elk can be turned and you can't see that huge animal 30 yards in front of you because of a couple of trees or just the way he's angled just right. And it takes, one step before you catch a little bit of him before he sees you. Keep your body quiet. No clanking gear. Strap down anything that swings or rattles. Soft clothes. No loose zipperos, Velcro, or flapping straps. Silence is everything. Use terrain. Move just behind the ridge or along the edge of cover. Peek over. Don't skyline yourself. Step on solid ground. Avoid dry leaves and branches. Use game trails when you can. They're usually quieter and lead where elk want to go. You might say to yourself, because I have, that when you're looking for the branches and leaves that you might step on and you're trying to be quiet there, that it's really hard to look and see. And that's the whole point of going slow. It is really hard to see and scan your footing at the same time. And that's why if you're only taking a step or two at a time and then scanning and then looking where you're going to step next, it works so much better, but you have to have the discipline to go slow. And when you stop to glass hard. Let your eyes pick apart shadows, legs under trees, antler tips, an ear. Sometimes elk are right there and you don't see them until they move. It's incredible how well they can blend in when they use shadows and the terrain. While still hunting, we want to constantly be on the lookout for fresh sign. If you want more encounters, you have to be able to read sign with confidence. Fresh tracks with sharp edges, moist droppings, broken branches, and even recently used trails. That's green light territory. Find a trail that shows consistent use, especially near benches or feed areas, and still hunt your way along it. Pay attention to where those tracks are headed, uphill to bed, downhill to water, or across a saddle. And here's something I've learned the hard way. Just because you found elk sign doesn't mean you need to keep moving. If it's fresh and you're in good wind, maybe sit tight for a little bit and watch and listen. Sometimes elk double back or feed through the same spot midday. Now, to call or not to call. This is where still hunting gets interesting. I rarely call when I'm still hunting unless I hear elk first. If I'm in close and I hear a branch snap or faint bugle, I might give a soft cow call and then go silent. Otherwise, I typically move without making a sound. Calling too much while still hunting kind of defeats the whole purpose, because then even though they may be looking for elk, they still may be looking. They're more aware for what's going on around them. That said, if you're in heavy timber and you're sure there's a bull nearby, throwing out one well-timed cow followed by silence and movement can make him curious enough to come check you out. But always play the wind first. If it's not right, don't call. We also need to have a good feeling for knowing when to be aggressive. There's a time to tiptoe and there's a time to charge. In my early days, I really struggled with this part of the game, and on more than one occasion, I asked myself, what would Cameron Haynes do? It's just an area that takes a lot of time and a lot of encounters to get a handle on, and I still get it wrong a lot. But here are a few tips I've learned. If you suddenly hear a bugle close by, drop the slow play and get moving. Cover ground fast while watching the wind and using cover. If you haven't made noise and he doesn't know you're there, a fired up bull won't wait long, and if you hang back too long, he'll move on. But if things are quiet, go back to your patient pace. I've had more success letting elk make the mistake than trying to force an encounter. So trust your instincts. If your gut says go now, go. If it says wait, wait. Still hunting is just as much about feel as it is skill. Let's cover a few gear considerations for still hunting. If you're serious about still hunting, your setup matters. Boots, silent, broken in, and supportive. You're moving slow, but then you need to have grip and comfort, and you've got to be comfortable out there for a while. Clothing, soft, breathable, and quiet. Nothing crunchy or noisy. Your pack, trim it down. You don't need everything, just water, your food, a kill kit, first aid. Optics, binoculars should be quick access. Rangefinder clipped into the chest. Sometimes when I'm still hunting and things get hot and I feel really good, that rangefinder might even be in my hand and out already. You won't be glassing far, but you still need clarity. Weapon readiness. If you spot a bull at 50 yards in the timber, you might only get a 3-second window. Practice shooting from awkward, fast setups. The lighter and quieter you are, the more you'll see and the better your odds. Now, possibly the most important part of still hunting is the mental game and staying committed. Here's the truth. Most hunters won't stick with still hunting. It's too slow. It's mentally demanding. You can go hours, sometimes days, without seeing elk. And what's happened to me is in the times where I've gotten bored and I've sped up and I've started taking 10 steps at a time instead of 1, 2, or 3, all of a sudden, there's the bull and I blew it. But when it works, it really works. If you're the kind of person who can handle silence, trust your reads, and stay alert for hours on end, you'll start to get into bulls that others walk right past. And even when you don't kill, you learn. Every track, every busted stalk, every quiet moment adds to your experience. This is a long game. Still hunting forces you to be a better hunter, not just a better shot or a better hiker. So let's bring it full circle. Still hunting isn't flashy. It doesn't get a lot of airtime in the magazines, but it flat out works, especially on public land where elk learn fast, move smart, and avoid pressure like the plague. If you want to level up as a public land elk hunter, master this art. Learn to move with the land. Trust your eyes and ears. Hunt sign like it's gospel. Stay disciplined with your wind and know when to press and when to pause. You'll put yourself in more close range encounters. You'll gain confidence. And one day you'll look up through the timber and realize there's a bull walking straight towards you and he has no idea you're there. That's what still hunting can do. Thanks for tuning in. If this helped you, drop a comment, share it with a hunting buddy, and don't forget to check out the Team Backbone membership if you want deeper coaching, gear discounts, and exclusive content to sharpen your edge. Hunt hard, become a master of still hunting, never settle.